Welcome to this daily guided meditation practice. This is the Attentive Mind. My name is Nathan, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation practice today. Find yourself a seated position. Any position works. You can be sitting in a chair, you can even be lying down. Just find what works for you. This is also an open eye meditation practice. We don't close our eyes here. But if you have learned to practice with your eyes closed, feel free to do so. There are no hindrances. But if your eyes are open, go ahead and just drop them down away from the screen and look gently at the floor or the desk or whatever is just below you. We don't have a staring gaze. We're not looking at a particular spot, but we're also not blurry and buzzy. We just have a nice, light, clear gaze directed gently downwards. You're in a nice, comfortable seated position. Your eyes are open and directed down. Are you waiting for me to say something? Anticipating some sort of special experience? Leave it. Where are you right now? Are you in the future? Are you in the past? No. You're here. You've always have been. And you always will be. So it's so simple. Be here. Don't run. But maybe for you, this moment is unbearable. There's a strong emotion or a difficulty, and all you want to do is run. Where are you going to go? Is there any way to step out of the present moment? Obviously not. So any effort to run is futile. That's why in meditation we're not doing anything special. We're not changing anything. We're becoming clearer, happier, less anxious, or less depressed. It's not the case. We're accepting what is without wanting to change anything. So as we sit here, allow everything to be just as it is. Watch it. Leave it alone. Just be here and accept everything. And you'll notice that the mind actually doesn't know how to do this, to accept. And if you're feeling uncomfortable or anxious or depressed, you'll notice the mind's like, yes, but how do I solve this? How do I accept this so this can go away? The mind is always trying to run away from this moment. But the thoughts and the chatter in your head aren't yours. They happen in the same way your heartbeat happens, all by itself. But because we pay so much attention to it, we believe to be it. We believe to be the authors of thinking. So instead of paying attention to the breath and paying attention to thoughts and following where they want to go, bring your attention gently to the breath, particularly in the lower belly, below the belly button, and above the groin. Notice this area here. Watch how as the breath comes in, this area expands naturally. And as the breath leaves, this area relaxes all by itself. Let your thoughts run on and on and on just as they want to. Simply remain with breathing in the lower belly. Stop planning. Return to the lower belly. Come back. Come back to breathing. Wake up. Wake up from thinking. Return to breathing. Rising and falling. All right, you can look at the screen. I keep doing this. I keep this phone in my pocket. You should really not practice with anything in your pockets. Okay. So we have a question today. All right. Okay, so I am grateful for these videos. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. I'm at the beginning of building into a daily practice. Good. This one was particularly difficult for me when I was trying to focus on my lower belly, as there was a lot of anxiety. I ended up moving around, actually got up for a bit and rubbed my face in an attempt to dissipate the unbearable feeling. I put my attention on my breath many times in the course of a typical day and feel my nervous system calm down as I do that. But focusing on my lower belly, especially being guided or told to, I feel trapped and I want to escape. Do you have any guidance for this? Should I modify where I put my attention, which would allow me to feel more calm, or should my attention stay on the lower belly when guided to do so? Yeah, well, I think we answered this question yesterday. Kind of. There's a few things to this. You really just want to leave thinking alone. So paying attention to the breath, bringing our attention away from thinking to something present, like breathing, is the goal. It doesn't matter really where you feel it. Like if some people feel it in their nose, some people feel it in their chest or their diaphragm or their lower belly, whatever. I have found it personally the most useful to practice in the lower belly because we have so much identification up here because we have our ears, our eyes, our nose, our smell. 4 of our senses are right here, so we feel to be up in this area. So paying attention here isn't much of a distance from down here. So that's really helped me. But just find what works for you. Like if maybe you're feeling trapped because you're told to do something and you're like, oh, I don't really want to be here. I want to be here. That's fine. But be careful, because that is your mind saying, I like this, I don't like this. It's just thinking. And we're here to leave thinking alone. Your mind will, they say this in Christianity, when you start to, now I'm not a Christian, but when you start to walk with Jesus, as they say, the devil will start attacking you even harder. And there's some truth to that, in the sense of meditation. When you start to let go of thinking, your mind seemingly seems to get louder and louder and more distracting and saying, I don't like that, I just need to move. But really, that's just the mind how it always is. You're just now seeing it as it is. So don't worry so much about what I like, what I don't like. And if it's easier for you, you approach meditation with a sense of calmness, just pay attention somewhere else. If you find that the nose is easier or the chest is easier, wherever you feel it, just put your attention there. And eventually you can move down and see the benefit of going down to the lower belly, but it's not that important. The important part is leaving thinking alone. Now you said in here that you have you have a sense of anxiety in your lower belly that feels unbearable. And I know exactly what you're talking about. I have debilitating anxiety for most of my life before I found this practice, of course. And even now it shows up. It still shows up for me. And it does feel like, it's hard to explain to people who don't have anxiety, but you're sitting here and it's just like this immense need to get up and move, like something's not right, I need to get out of here. I can't do this anymore. And it's very unbearable. And for those times, you don't want to push and force too much. You don't want to just push and force your way through it. But really, you don't want to run from it either. What I learned from this practice was to accept all sensations. The problem I was having is that I called it anxiety, as if it's an affliction. When really, what is it really when you just pay attention to it? Some butterflies and thoughts. Maybe it sometimes can go through your whole body. You feel this whole sense of just total fight or flight. But what is it really? It's feelings, sensations, tingling, and then thinking about it. That's what it is. But because we're always running from it, trying to get away from it, it comes back stronger. So you don't want to run from anxiety. You don't want to run from depression. You turn around, you go the other direction, you go into it. What is it? When I stop calling it this, what is it really? What are the atoms of this experience? Then you can see it for what it really is. And you realize you don't need it to disappear, to be peaceful, to be at ease. We're not calming down in meditation. We're accepting what is, regardless of what happens. There's an old story, I don't know if I have time, but there's an old story from the Indian tradition where I think Sri Ramana Maharshi would always say this one, but it's a man's walking through a forest at night and he sees a snake crossing the path and immediately he's full of fear. And he doesn't know what to do. He has to go home, so he stands there in fear. But really, the snake isn't a snake, it's a rope. But he can't see it, so he thinks it's a snake. And until he goes up and looks at it and approaches it and sees that it's a rope, then his fear can remain. And it's the same thing with anxiety or any kind of unbearable and uncomfortable feeling. Unless we actually look at it to see what it actually is, rather than seeing it from afar and running from it and saying it's anxiety, saying it's depression, unless we turn and look at it, we won't see that it's just a rope. It's just a rope. I hope that helps. And please let me know if you have any other questions. And thank you for everyone who stayed here, paying attention. Thank you for showing up today and showing up for your life. And as always, without exception, see you tomorrow.